Tesla has literally been on fire over the last several weeks. Several Tesla charging stations were set on fire outside Boston. And in Seattle, a fire damaged 4 Tesla Cybertrucks, and protesters were arrested at a demonstration at a Tesla dealership in Lower Manhattan.
Shots were even fired at a Tesla dealership in Oregon, with chanting, "Elon Musk has to go."
All of this has been part of a series of attacks against Tesla since Elon Musk became an advisor to President Trump. Tesla stocks have taken a hit here and abroad. Despite that hate, Musk's marquee brand was given a boost Tuesday after falling over 15% on Monday. President Trump did appear with his senior advisor at the White House to select a new Tesla for himself and for his staff. Let's watch.
Well, I'm going to buy, and I'm going to buy because, number one, it's a great product, as good as it gets. And number two, because this man has devoted his energy and his life to doing this. And I think he's been treated very unfairly by a very small group of people. And I just want people to know that you can't be penalized for being a patriot. And he's a great patriot. And he's also done an incredible job with Tesla. And I mean, nobody else has a car company started up in the last 30 years that's been successful. And I don't think so. And not only successful, but super successful. And because he's able to find billions and billions and billions of dollars of fraud and waste and all of the things, I mean, our country is going to be very strong very soon because of a lot of the things that he's done and a lot of the things that I'm doing.
Trump has been critical of electric cars in the past, and many are questioning his move now to turn the White House lawn into a Tesla showroom. Late-night host Jimmy Kimmel had this to say. Let's watch.
This is not a good time to own a Tesla vehicle. There have been a lot of reports of angry Americans vandalizing Teslas, vandalizing charging stations, attacking the showroom, so much so that President Trump today took it upon himself to announce he will be buying a Tesla, even though he's not allowed to drive a car. That should turn things around. I remember the time he saved Party City by buying a kazoo. It was heroic. But it makes sense because Trump, as you know, has been a long-time supporter of electric cars.
We are a nation whose leaders are demanding all electric cars, even though they can't go far, cost too much, and whose batteries are produced in China with materials only available in China.
He flip-flops from 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. It's really a thing of beauty. What a twist. Watching Donald Trump check out a Tesla, it was like watching a monkey with an iPad.
Wow, this is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer.
Stephen Colbert also had some things to say.
All of this was to shore up Elon's fading brand, and Trump almost got the name right.
I love Tesla.
All of that. And you end it with, I love Tesla. But you know what? It's an honest mistake. He just mixed up the 2 words most associated with Elon Musk, Tesla and Hitler.
Oh, har, har, har.
Well, politicians sure do have a way of changing their minds, don't they?
They do, and that includes the Democrats, all of whom were trying to force electric cars on us for years as the solution to rising gas prices. Do you remember that? When the voters are saying gas prices are too high, and everyone said, oh, just get a Tesla. Multiple Democrats said, buy an electric vehicle instead of dealing with car prices. But now that electric vehicles are associated with someone with conservative political views, it's suddenly bad and evil, and they're sending deranged activists to set the plants on fire.
Democrats
hate conservatives so much that they're now willing to set on fire places where the cars are built and charged.
Can't let that go, Robby. Democrats didn't set his cars on fire.
Well, these are
some people set his cars on fire. Come on. What happened was that the Democrats used to support Tesla when Elon Musk seemed like this really cool guy, and yes, we were trying
when he was silent and supportive of their policies.
Well, that's kind of true. But hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Thank you.
But the policies that we liked was diminishing America's reliance on oil. Yes, and now, because of his activity with Doge, et cetera, many people are unhappy. Don't say that the Democrats support violent acts of arson and so forth. So just don't even go
The Democratic Party, no.
The president,
but the
and also
doing
it is illegal what the president did. And you know there were all these calls coming in.
What was illegal?
It is
buying
illegal.
a Tesla?
for the president to use the South Lawn of the United States of the White House for that kind of behavior. There were phone calls. I think so. Actually, there was something about. Well, I know
If
that
it is,
there's
I don't
something.
care.
Hold on. The phone calls that were coming in yesterday to Susie Wiles and others, Ludnick and so forth, were from the head of car companies. The big three in Detroit. Excuse me, why is it okay for the president to be giving this ad for Tesla rather than for Ford, rather than for Chevrolet, and so forth? So we are now in a situation where the president just will do whatever it takes.
Well, I'd love Trump to do an advertisement for Rising, but I don't think it violates the law if he
Well, no,
does
there
an
is a
advertisement
law about
for
using
breaking
it for
points
political
instead.
purposes, for using the White House to promote your own political agenda, your own political, not just your agenda, but your own political prospects. So it could be seen. But they have fired anybody in any kind of ethics offices. They have fired anyone who would hold them to account for any of this stuff. So it is what it is, and the American people can see it for what it is. Yeah, it is what it is.
And all the
But it won't be
progressive
the way it
commentators
is for
hate
much
electric
longer.
vehicles now,
What'd you
and
say?
they're all about making fun of Tesla when they were shoving them down our throats for years and years and years.
We wanted
were
to
being
end
shoved down
America's
our
reliance on oil.
Well, and we still do.
Because fossil
And now
fuel
Trump is
extraction-
promoting that, and it's bad all of a sudden.
No, that's
Trump-
not.
isn't it Trump-
You're
isn't
putting
that
all
Trump
kinds of
derangement
things
syndrome?
together.
Isn't
No,
that Trump derangement
fossil
syndrome?
fuel extraction is very, very bad for the environment.
agree.
And for that reason, we supported electric cars. And at that time, remember, Richard Nixon was a Republican president. He founded the EPA. There was
Well,
a time when there were environmentalists within the Republican Party.
the
It should not
EPA
be a
is a
Democratic and Republican
Evil
issue.
organization that should be
Pardon?
destroyed. And
Oh,
rooted out
EPA is an
entirely,
evil
but
organization? You heard
Richard
it,
Nixon
everybody.
is
EPA.
now a conservative hero of mine.
I don't care what your politics are, you have to breathe. I don't care what your politics are, it's going to hurt your economics and your health if these terrible consequences in terms of the weather continue to catastrophically unfold. It's going to harm your grandchildren. So I don't care what your politics are. Why would you be against the Environmental Protection Agency?
Because it is crippling for the economy of this country. It makes it impossible to build new homes, build new factories. It violates people's own property rights by discovering, endangered animals in their backyard, they can't do anything. It is an attack on building things in America. Yes, we should promote environmental health and good quality. I agree with that. And yes, the common areas, like our waterways, public park, have to be preserved for common use. I agree with that. We can't ask Americans, however, to pay more or to have worse experiences with using the laundry, all those kinds of environmental standards, or gas stove. You take away things Americans like, take colder shower. All of that is nonsense. We can't be asked to do that while China is still polluting as much as it wants. Most of the environmental degradation is coming from developing countries. It can't all fall on us to live worse and more miserable lives while our rivals continue to pollute.
Do you mean this, or is it just for TV?
No, I mean
that
that
you
absolutely.
will not come up with any level of consensus and balance and both and. I really wonder that, because nobody wants these kinds of extremes. But
No, I'm for moving, but I'm for. We don't need an unaccountable environmental agency to do it. But I agree about moving away from what you were saying about moving away from fossil fuels. Yes, no, I agree with that. Now, I think nuclear is actually an important part of the solution, which I know makes some, maybe not. I don't know what your views on it are, but some people
I think it's a conversation that is nuanced, and it's a conversation we need to have.
I think moving away from Europe, moving away from it was a big mistake because now they're reliant on Russian gas and oil.
It's not that I don't trust the technology, because I understand that we have the technology now that makes it safe. The problem I have is with human beings. And remember, DOGE, part of what they're doing already is stripping our nuclear facilities, stripping people who run them, who know what to do, the experts. The way the government is behaving right now, the last thing I want to do is to have more nuclear power in the hands of crazy, reckless, irresponsible, DOGE-type rampagers who think that we don't need experts and people who really know what they're doing to run things.
Do you know, you live in D.C. as well, as do I. Mm-hmm. Do you know how difficult it is to get permission from the local government in D.C. to put solar panels on your own house in order to have cleaner energy? It is annoying, difficult, cumbersome regulation that makes on your own house to put solar panels, to become greener, to become cleaner. That's what I'm talking about, regulation getting in the way. So I want to clear out
all regulations you'd like to clear out.
Well, all regulations I would basically like to clear out, but some of those regulations you should agree that get in the way of people making greener, better choices for themselves.
Listen.
Bureaucratic experts, they don't know anything.
That's
in
just
so many
ridiculous to say
cases.
bureaucratic experts don't know anything. No, it's Elon Musk who doesn't know anything about government. You have such a problem with unelected bureaucrats.
He knows how to
Many of
run
the
things
unelected,
and make them more efficient
No,
and better. He clearly does.
He does not.
He's
know
sending a
government.
rocket to go rescue the astronauts.
I don't care. You don't feed a hungry child because it's efficient. You feed a hungry child because it's the right thing to do. The U.S. government is not a business.
But we
Profit is
find-
not our
no, we
bottom
did- but
line.
we did-
The American people
we
thrive
designed-
is our bottom line.
We design better systems to feed more hungry people all over the world. Just as Rand Paul was saying in our interview, which I know you don't actually even agree with because you're for more trade and getting rid of some of these tariffs, the big driver of progress, of reduction of starvation, reduction of poverty in the last 100 years has been introduction of more market concepts, more trade-based concepts to
And?
India, China, and the rest. Most of human history has been crippling poverty and violence
I understand
and
that.
starvation,
And?
and then you get trade where where the profit incentive, the incentive for us to benefit from each other economically, drives the end of starvation. That's a good thing, and we must design those
12,000
mechanisms.
children are starving on this planet every day.
Right.
So obviously, trade alone
fewer.
is not I don't care that it's fewer.
But the trajectory
12,000
is-
children. No, obviously, trade alone is not the answer. These are big both-and situations. I do not see corporate profit as the bottom line. I see that we love each other. That is meant to be our bottom line. That we take care of each other. I believe in a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Efficiency itself. My God, Auschwitz was efficient. And to have someone, it's interesting. You've done it here today as well. There's a lot of this sneer around unelected bureaucrats. When many of the unelected bureaucrats that you're talking about are experts, people who have been in these programs, who have dedicated their lives to these programs. All of a sudden, this one man comes along, an unelected expert, and he's not even an expert in these agencies that he's destroying. He's an expert in how to run a certain kind of business, and he's ketamine fueled, and all you have to do is listen to him.
Well,
and
he
see
should
that
lay
these
off.
guys,
Trust
they
me,
would
he
say
should
in
lay
the-
off the ketamine.
Pardon?
Lay off
Yeah,
the
no,
ketamine.
this is not a
good
joke. This
advice
is not
I
a
give
joke. This
people,
is
but-
chaotic. This is destructive. They are gutting federal agencies. They are gutting really the operation of the U.S. government. And I'm all for righteous profit. I'm all for righteous trade. But this idea that somebody making money in an immediate sense is the bottom line of how we govern ourselves, no, that is not the bottom line. The bottom line to me is democracy and humanitarian values. I think God asks us to be good people, and we should think of ourselves as trying to be a good nation as well.
Right.
And good doesn't just mean that a bunch of billionaires make money fast.
There are some services the government must provide, should provide. We voted for them to provide, regardless of if it can be made profitable for the bare bones of the government in terms of providing court services and police services and et cetera. Yes, it will not exactly be run by a business.
Yeah,
but
well, there are
I
also
would
things
turn
where
back.
So you'd be okay with getting rid of Social Security and Medicaid, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Oh my God! Okay, come back tomorrow, everybody, because you need to listen to this.
I think I should opt. I think I should be able to opt out of paying for it.
Oh God!
That's what I would
let me
do.
ask. That means
Because
the
I believe in
destruction of
human
it.
freedom.
That means the destruction of it.
I won't
Let me
put a
ask you
gun to
this.
your head and say
Are
you must fork over money now that you will never
Yes,
get back.
We
I
know
am
how. Yeah, we
against
know
that.
the
It's
argument. So let me
coercive.
ask you this: what about democracy itself? How do you feel about democracy itself?
Democracy itself is the best system we have available, but there are some things we don't put to a vote, Marianne. Fundamental free speech rights, it's in the First Amendment. It's in our founding documents. It doesn't matter if 55, 60, 70, 80%
Well, a
say that
constitutional
your
system.
hateful speech should be illegal. We don't care. There are some things that don't get put to a vote.
No, I
Free
agree with
speech
you.
doesn't get put to
I
a vote.
agree with
Religious
you.
freedom.
So I should have said, how about
Yeah.
the Constitution? So you
I'm
seem to be arguing.
fully in support of our
Well, if you're for
Constitution.
the
I love our
Constitution,
Constitution.
then you are for the three co-equal branches of government, and
Yes.
you do not see the president as a dictator,
do
and you
not.
see the president as working. You keep saying he was elected, he was elected. He was elected, yes, but still to work within the context, within the purview of the law. That's
all that
why
I
the
agree
fact
with.
that the Supreme
All that I
Court
agree with.
gave him immunity from prosecution.
I did not agree with that decision.
I'm glad you didn't,
did
and
not.
that's why he's acting like a madman, because he knows no one will hold him accountable.
Yeah,
But
I
the
think
American
it is
people will
dangerous
hold
to
him
give
accountable,
not
hopefully,
even
in
this particular
2026.
president, but the office of the presidency so much protection from scrutiny was, I think, a bad thing.
Absolutely, it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
The president is the no
See,
man
I'm
is
reasonable,
supposed to be
Marianne.
above the law. What'd you say?
I'm reasonable, Marianne.
It was that, yeah. Yeah, you definitely are. Okay.
That does it for us today on Rising. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any of our content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we're now available anywhere you can find podcasts. Thanks so much for watching. Let us know how you feel about our show, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.